Okay, today we are going to learn how to do word clouds in Python. Um, so basically, in order to do word cloud, clearly we need to have some text. And basically, you can see that I have uploaded a chapter from Alice in Wonderland as a text file. So where did I get the text file? I have put some text reference hyperlink here. Okay, and if you click on this hyperlink, you are going to go to this thing here. And this is called the Project Gutenberg. So you can have all the books or many books that you had, and you could always do the same as I did with Alice in Wonderland. So in the assignment that I will give you, don't take Alice in Wonderland, try to do something else, okay? But I mean, that's basically the page you would be for Alice Adventure in Wonderland, and see you have a structure with some chapter. And all I did probably was, to copy and paste so I copy this, the first chapter only, and see it goes up to here. So I must have copy this and paste it into my notepad, or you can do it in any kind of text editor. Okay, so you can see what I copy here. I left the title and this thing here, but you don't need to have that. Okay, you could have simply start with Alice was beginning to get very tired. Okay. You can see I even left those dots. You can strip them or not, it does not matter. When you do that automatically through web scraping, often you have all those things which are automatically added. So let me go back. So basically, again, okay, you must have Notepad or something equivalent. This is called a text editor, okay, and you can always open a new window, and then you can save whatever. I think so. I did Control C to copy, from the website, and then Control. Oops, I didn't copy it probably. So you take some text, Control C, you go to your Notepad text editor, and then you say Control V, and then you are going to get your text, okay? And then you save it with a specific name somewhere, okay? So you can see that, and it must be a TXT file extension. See, you have all files, but you choose TXT. You could do probably that with Microsoft Word instead of if you don't find Notepad on your computer with Microsoft Word. But with Microsoft Word as well, you can actually save it as a text file. So you don't save it as a Microsoft extension. You go to all files and you type .txt. Okay, and then you would have the same as using Notepad. Okay, but try to locate Notepad on your Windows Microsoft-based or Windows-based computer, or try to download the equivalent of Notepad on your Mac. If you go to Google and you type the questions, what is the equivalent of Notepad in a Macintosh computer, you will get the information, and you will be able to do exactly what I have done here. So I can close this thing. I don't need to save it because I have already my file here. And basically I can come back here And so basically, once I have my file on my computer, I simply uploaded that to my Google Colab environment, as we have seen before. Okay, remember once more. Okay, you go here, and then you go here somewhere, and then you try to locate where you have put your text, and you say open. I'm not gonna do it because it is already done in my Google Colab. So it's there, okay? So once you have that, okay, you have to install a couple of a library, okay? Of course, we need to install a specific library, which is called Wordcloud, okay? And so always the same command that you have to write, pip install Wordcloud with the exclamation point just before. And actually, if you do that, you will see that actually it's already installed in your Google Colab environment. Actually, you can see that it's already installed because well, I mean, it's told, you are told that it's already satisfied. And so it means that you, strictly speaking, you didn't need to install it, okay? But I do that to you because most likely you never know. Instead, you don't know what is installed or not in terms of library in your Google Colab, okay? And we will need to use as well Matplotlib as a library. Matplotlib is truly the library which permits you to make all type of figures and graph. So for data visualization, it's a very important library. You can see that actually when you pip install Matplotlib into Google Colab, it is already installed. So strictly speaking, you didn't need to have that. Okay, so now, okay, once those libraries are installed, you still need to import some library. Okay, so it's not. You cannot only say that you want to install them. Okay, you have also to say to Python that now you are using them. Okay. And for the Wordcloud library, okay, one way to import it is to say, well, from Wordcloud, import those specific modules. Okay, so you need to mention the module that you want, and you import, well, this is the line that if you continue to work with Python, you will see this line very often. That's the way we import Matplotlib. And PLT is a reference, well, it's an alias to this thing here. Instead of typing that, you only type this. But everywhere you are going to see, when we do data visualization, you are going to see PLT, and it's a short name for matplotlib.pyplot, okay, which is a module of included into that famous library called Matplotlib. And here I'm importing some patches as well that we will see at the end of this tutorial. So I have put the Gutenberg. Of course, you can pick whatever you want. You can go here, get rid of that, and you are going to be on the main page. And then you type the title of the book that you would like to use for a word cloud. And one chapter is enough. Okay, don't do with a file which is too big. So now that I have installed what I wanted to install, okay, the first thing that we need to do is to open this file. Okay, and one way to process is basically to use a function which is included into a Python distribution. And that function will basically open the text that is, or the file that is it. And you can assign that to well, I mean, I call it file. It makes sense, but you could call it the way you want. So basically now in file, you basically have the stream of the text, okay, and code it correctly. Oh, by the way, also, I have put that here, you know, when you have text in a foreign language, you have all those, you know, characters that actually that are not in English, that you don't find in English. So if you get problems or some kind of error at this stage when you run this cell, it's probably an encoding error. Okay, so you may add this if you want. Here, well, the text is in English and apparently there is no encoding error, but you can add it if at some point in time you have some problem at this stage. Okay, so once the stream of text is open, or what you say is that, well, you ask Python to read it and to assign this to a new variable that I call text. Okay, so now you already so it means that now your computer is reading the text. Okay, or is ready to read the text if you want. Well, here you can see, you know, when you create when you work with text, there are often some words which are not very relevant. You know, in the Wordcloud, let me see. See, in the Wordcloud library, we have imported something called stop words. And stop words is basically a set of words that is relatively irrelevant typically in a text. So, you know, if I run this cell here, okay, you will be able to see the number. Okay, this thing here, print the length of stop words. Stop words is a set of words, and length of stop words will give you the number of words which are in that set. Okay, so if we print that, let me make sure that I have run this. Yes. So basically you see 100, so there are 192 words that have been recorded, if you want, into the Wordcloud library. If you instead of printing the number of words, if you print stop words, it gives you those words that have been automatically removed when you work with any kind of word cloud. So this is not a list which is related to this text here, the Alice chapter. It's a general list that exists for any kind of word clouds that you would do. Now, you know, sometimes you look at the final output of your word cloud and you see, well, you know, that will be the final output here. Maybe you see some words that are not very interesting, you know. Then you could say, well, you know, I want to get rid of this word. One way to do would be to add some words to this stop words. And one way to do is basically to say, well, you know, I want to add said and one. I choose those ones because I thought they were irrelevant, but there are probably many other words that you could get rid of, okay? But one way to do would be simply to add those words like that. Like if you don't want the word one, okay, you put one in quotation, and then the word said, you put it as well in quotation, you put a comma, and you put that between square brackets, okay? And then you say, well, add this to the stop word set of words. Okay, and you know, I know that this is one of the things which is difficult in Python is basically to understand different notions like what is a set, what is a list, and things like that. For the time being, I don't want to go into that. If I go into that, eventually I will give you a course which feels like a computer science course in a computer science department. And that's not really what I want to do, although with time we'll start to be able to make this kind of distinction. You know, here stop words is actually a set, and you can see that those words have been put into a brace bracket, like a bit in mathematics. When you create a set, it's in a brace bracket, and you have all those elements in that set. But you know, when you add those words here, you want to create a list, and a list is, you know, another kind of way to deal with data in Python. And don't panic, I don't want to insist on that. Those who will continue working with Python, those things will clarify by themselves. But for the time being, I just mentioned it, but I don't want you to panic about that. You know, creating list of stop words will change basically this presentation, and it will appear under square bracket, okay? And you add two elements here to the list of stop words, and you create a new list that I have put in small cap letter. And you know, if I run this, now it tells me, well, how many words do you have in that list of words? And it tells me 194, two more because I have added those two words. And I can now print the stop words. And you see, okay, that's, again, don't panic, okay, that's not so important for the time being. But you see all those words that have been printed. And you see that said and one have been added to few, has, etc. And you can also see that now it's not into brace bracket, but it's all those words are included in what is called a list in Python. Okay, so that was for the technical part of it, just to let you hear some of those notions, but I don't want you to panic with respect to that. So now, basically, let's create our first workload, and you will see how easy it is. You know, I know that some of you may have learned how to use NVivo as a program, and you can do this kind of thing. But you know, honestly, I think that it's so much easier to start working with Python and to all those projects in Python. You can see here that the way to produce your workload is simply to invoke a this is called a class constructor. Actually, it constructs some object that actually I will call Wordcloud. Okay, and so basically the way it works is that you create a Wordcloud object if you want, or you are technically you instantiate a Wordcloud object through this class constructor, and you want to add some features to this Wordcloud object that you are creating. And for example, see, stop words is equal to stop words. So this is parameters that, and you say, well, you know, what you say to the library Wordcloud, what kind of stop words you want to use. And clearly those stop words have been identified here, okay? So that's this list here. You can say, you can ask, what is the background? And you know, I have already run that, so you can see what is the background color that you want. And I have put pink, okay? That's why you see that it's in pink. Maximum words is equal to 50. If you count those words, there are 50 of them. You could change that. You could put 100, 200, whatever you want, okay? You will see random state is equal to 1. What does that mean? It means that every time you run that Wordcloud again, it will provide you exactly the same setting. And if you change that, you are going to get a new setting for for the word cloud. And you can try it, okay? For example, if I do random state is equal to 2, and if I run that, you see that actually the order of the words has changed, okay? But if I come back to random state is equal to 1, it should give me back the screen that you saw before, okay? Relative scaling, I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. And mask is equal to none, okay? I put it on first here. You know, very often in the next uh, uh, video, I will talk about masking. Okay, so very often you add a figure like that, a silhouette like that, to the word cloud, and it permits you to generate a word cloud uh, uh, which is embodied in that mask, if you want. You will see later on, but for the time being, I want just to show you how simple it is to create those word cloud here, okay? And again, okay, those line of code lines, you don't need to feel that you need to master all these things. If you run that, from the file that I will provide to you, you will be able to get this, and then you can slightly adapt to your own context. For example, see here the second line here. Once the word cloud has been as an object has been created, you say, well, now let's add the text to this, okay? So basically, you really need to have, in order to get the text here, you really need to add this line, okay? You generate the word cloud with what? With the text that we have included before. So you can see here that we have read this text here through this line here. So now Python has memorized the text, if you want, and will use this text for the word cloud. So it means that if you are using, you know, another chapter or another book, okay, this line will take automatically the book that you have chosen based on what you ask. All what you would need is to change this, okay? If you change this, you will have the book that you have selected from the Gutenberg website, and you will be able to create your own word cloud. So that's very simple. You have to change this. Maybe you will need to add this encoding if it's in a foreign language, or even in English, you may have some problems sometimes with some characters, but try by yourself, okay? And you know, you really don't need to add this, okay? I just show you in case you want to refine your word cloud. And that's it, okay? So basically this thing here, okay, so we are calling the Matplotlib library, which is the library in Python, which permits you to make all kind of data visualization. So that's the alias that you have seen here, PLT. So you call this library, and there is a function in that library that permits you to deal with pictures, digital pictures. We have seen that in Python there is another library for picture, which is called PIL. We have seen that in a previous tutorial. But here we are going to use Matplotlib per se to deal with pictures, okay? And a word cloud is a pictures, okay? So basically, you want to use that function on the word cloud that you just generated. Interpolation is equal to bilinear. It's to make the chart or the image a bit more clear. You don't need that, okay? You can get rid of that. And then you can, if you want to save it, you could, you know, basically comment that in plot save figure. and give a relevant name and see, because it's a picture, add an extensions for digital pictures like PNG. I'm not gonna save it. I don't need to save that in my Google Colab. And then we can show it on the screen. Okay, so if I didn't run that before, if I run it again, you can see that. Okay, so that's our first word cloud. And again, if you want to do it by yourself, you don't need to change anything here. And all what you would need is basically to provide the new text that you want to for which you want to generate a word cloud. And then eventually, once you have done it once, okay, you can do it with Alice in Wonderland for sure. You can start to think about how much you control this thing. Of course, if you put white here, the background will be white. It's as simple as that. And if you look at that white and head, okay, that's the white and that's the height of the figure that you have created. If you don't want to see those numbers, all what you need to do is well, actually, I will discuss that in the next cell. But I just wanted to make sure that you see the link between this picture and those parameters. Okay, you can change that. Okay, you can say I want something which is square, so I could put 800 and 800. I could come back to pink. Find one. And see, now it gives me something which is square, 800 by 800. Okay. So that's about it. For this, I think I have said most of what I wanted to say. I still need to talk about and change that. Okay, we'll put 100 here and look at what it gives you. I still need to talk about this parameter, which is an important one. So I have put here in this cell actually some description of those parameters. Okay, so there are lots of parameters, and you have the description, and it should help you. I also gave the link of the original library. So if you click on that, you will get those same kind of explanation. Okay, you can always click on those things. It will go back. It will uh, lead you to the original Wordcloud library with the documentation of the library. Now, let me go here. If you want to get rid of the numbers around the pictures, all what you need to add is plot axis off. And the off will imply that basically you remove the numbers that you saw before. And I want to talk about the relative scaling parameters that you see here, okay? This is a parameter that can go from 0 to 1. I put it at 0.2, but you can experiment with that, okay? So I have put some information here. If you put 1, the size of the words will reflect the frequency of words. Clearly, in a word cloud, you want those words which comes more often. You want them to be bigger than those who are rarer. Okay, and clearly, Alice in Wonderland, in the first chapter, the name Alice comes often, or little as well. See, there is a rabbit as well, think, where, but I mean, you have going, either, never, cat, soon, make, which are much less frequent among the 50 words that were asked to be plotted. So if you put the relative scaling equal to 1, the size reflects the frequency of the words in the sense that the size of the words will be twice as big for words which are twice as frequent. So, for example, if Alice comes 10 times in the first chapter, but the word think comes only 5 times, Alice will be 5 times bigger than think. Okay? In terms of place it occupies in the word cloud. If you put 0, there will still be, I mean, words which are more frequent will be bigger, but you know, the proportion will not be linear. Okay, it's you just take the rank. Okay, Alice is first, and then you have maybe little is second, way is third, and you can, if you play with this parameter, you probably will understand better. So, for example, if I put relative scaling is equal to 1, okay, so I have choose 1 here. If I run this, you see that the general look of your word cloud is different from this one. Okay, so by playing, and I think that in general, it's better not to push it to 1. I think that keeping it close to 0, 0, 1, 0, 2 usually looks better to me than if you push that parameter to a bigger number like 0, 9 or 1. If you put relative scaling to 0, well, it will be very close to what I have, because in the previous setting I had 0.2, and here I put it 0, and it looks quite similar to what I had before. There is not much difference. Okay. You can pick the color map. Okay, let me, if you go here, you will see that there is a website, Matplotlib, where you have different type of color map. Okay, so it's clear that, you know, we have already put pink here for the background color, but, you know, color map will look at the color of the words per se. And here, for example, if you pick, okay, those names here, I didn't create them. Okay, if you go to that website, okay, you are going to see basically how to choose color maps in Matplotlib. And you will see there are many different types of color maps with different names that you can select. Okay. And so you can put Viridis, Plasma, Inferno, Magma, Cividis, etc. And you know, the more you use these things and the more you understand. Okay, so you know, if I choose YIGN and make sure that you write it this way, capital letter, it's not the same as the small cap letters. Okay, you would get most of those words would be between dark green and light green. Okay, and so you have many of those color maps. Okay, and so you can experiment. So I have experimented with twilight shifted. So it's those same line of code. I didn't change it from the very first one I did. Or I change now, or well, I change, I put the background color to white. It's maybe easier to see what happens with those color maps. And then you can choose ocean instead of twilight shifted, to see what it gives you. Okay. See, so basically the background is still white because I pick white for the background color. But the color of the words appears to be different. And you can try with, I don't know, Inferno. Let's see what it gives us. Well, it gives us this, and you know, you can always, if you go back to this page, you can look at Inferno. I don't know where it is, and I don't want to look at it. But I mean, try with, I don't know, Rainbow or maybe let me try it with Cool Warm. What does it give? and do that, Control V, cool, warm. Hopefully I have written it correctly. I comment that out. So every time I put the DS or the hash key, Python jump over it. It does not look at that. So now it will simply look at cool warm. And see, that's the type of colors which goes with cool warm. And what was that? Cool warm. See, blue and then red. Okay, that's basically the idea. It starts with blue and then it finishes with red. I don't really like this color. I prefer this one here, and I'm gonna keep this one. Finally, one of the things, well, people, you will see many word cloud like that on the internet, but in order to give a more professional look to that, you may want to add a title, you may want to add some additional text, and some background color outside the word cloud. And to do that, you can use Matplotlib. So in order to use Matplotlib, you would need to embed this in a figure and one way to do it is basically to write this line here, okay? So you invoke or you call Matplotlib library. Remember the alias is PLT. And you simply say, well, I want to construct a figure, dot figure. And look at here, okay, you don't need to have this face color is light blue, but when I run this, you will notice that I have added some blue. No, here that's the original Wordcloud. And I have added some blue background around the Wordcloud. Without that, if I remove this thing here, Control X, and then hashtag. Remember why I put the hash key? It's because I don't want to erase it from the program, but I don't want Python to read it. Okay, but if I do that, and let's run it, you see that actually I have some titles and my name that I have added here, but you can see that the blue background has been removed. So again, okay, the trick if you want to have a background be around the word cloud is this, and then you can change the name of the color. Again, you go, in Google Colab, you can write Matplotlib color, and they will give you, different names. Like if you want magenta, I know it's a name for a color, and that's what it would give you. Okay, I don't really like it. I prefer, or you can, bisque. If I type bisque, that's what you are going to get. Okay, it's not bad. Okay, but light blue was maybe, to me at least, slightly better. Light blue. Okay, so you are creating a figure by fig will be an object, and you create this object with using Matplotlib and the alias PLT, clearly you are creating a figure and with some blue background, light blue background. This has not changed at all. This hasn't changed. But see here, okay, I'm using Matplotlib library. I'm adding a title, okay, and this is that thing here. Okay, so I have added Alice in Wonderland. With some font size 16, font weight bold, and pad, which is the distance between this and that. So you can, if you want to, if you think that the title is too close to the word cloud, you can put 20. Let's see what it gives us. See, now the title has been a bit pushed up. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to 10. Font size, well, clearly you change that. So I'm sure that you are able to control. You increase that to 20 and you are 25. And see, I have increased the size of the title. So let me go back to 16. And of course, you can, if you have chosen the stories of Peter Pan instead of Alice in Wonderland, don't put the title Alice in Wonderland, change the title so you can, type Peter Pan or whatever here. Okay, so that's the title. It's very simple. And you can also add some text, okay? And here, see, I have added Patrick George, Graduate School of Public and International Affairs, Ottawa. I want that to be in bold with a font size smaller than the title and in gray, color gray, okay? I could have chosen a color for that as well. I could have written color is equal to red. So let me run this thing. See, now it's in red. Okay, I'm gonna remove that because I don't want this to be in red. So by default, it will be in black, okay? And then, you see that this thing here has been added here, okay? And remember, those are the numbers which tells you the dimensions of the word cloud. So the word cloud is of dimension 800 by 500. Okay, and that helps me, okay, when I have those numbers, that helps me to locate the text, okay. 120, see here it started 120. And 550 is the y-axis, okay? It goes to, see, 300, 400, 500 is probably here, and then I pick something a bit slower, so 550. Remember, the y-axis goes in the opposite side of what we are used to when we learn that in school for digital pictures. So that's why, this location, if I change this, I will change, like, imagine that I want this to start here, okay? I can put 0. And see now my name start just below 0, okay? Well, at 0 and still the same value for y. Okay? So I can put it back. And it's up to you to play a bit, to see. Sometimes you start and you see that your name is just in the middle of the word cloud, which is something that probably you do not want. And then eventually you don't want to keep. So I kept those numbers here in order to be able to see where I should locate my name. Okay, but then you can remove this plot.axis off. So that instruction simply tells to Matplotlib, don't put the gradation or the number along the axis. So if I run that again, I'm gonna get my word cloud. And then you can control the size of the pictures. Okay, once you have this, okay, you can control the overall size of the pictures by adding this parameter. So I have added this fixed size 10.5, okay? And so by clicking, nothing else has changed, okay? So if I click this, I'm gonna get a bigger pictures, okay? Bigger than this one. So I'm expanding the dimensions of the pictures per se with this thing. And you can play with that, okay? You can put it at So let me make sure that I recall what I have put here. So C dash, Control V. Okay, so for myself, I keep that as a command for myself, and then I can maybe try to experiment with I don't know, add and add, and it will change the size. It will be square now. Add. So I can come back to 10, 5. Play a bit to see what it give you. There's not seems to me to be so different, but play with it. Finally, okay, so basically, and that's maybe a bit more difficult, but I have added a blue rectangle around this picture here. And the way to do it is this code line, okay? And I don't want you to go into the details of that, but I mean, you can see what you are able to control. The color is dark blue, okay? Of course, if I pick another color, like, I don't know, magenta again, okay, or bisque. And I run this, well, the color will change, okay? And this one is not bad, actually. And you can play with the width of the line width. It was 6 now. Let me increase to 8. So it's slightly bigger, you can see, from what it was before, 6. You want this to remain false. If you say true, basically, the whole rectangle will be color in bisque. So if I say true, yeah. You will see that's not what you want. So, you have covered your own word cloud with a rectangle which is filled with this color. That's not what you want. So you keep it false. And then here is a bit it's somewhat similar to what we have seen in the PIL tutorial for digital image. 00 tells you that, let me write it again. 00 tells you that you want this to be in the left up and left part of the picture. It should start at 00. And 1 is the wide. So you start from here and you go 1 in that direction and 1 in that direction. So it's a relative measure, okay? Basically you can change that. For example, you can put 0.0. If you think that you have too much on the right side and on the left side and on the right side, you can play with that. So I let you experiment, but let's see if I do 0.05 here for the left. So I cut a bit the left side of the graph. And if I put 0.95, I cut a little bit on the wide of the graph, 0.95. Then you will see what will happen, okay? So the square will go here like that. So all this big blue zone will be reduced. So see, so you can, adjust slightly to your own taste, okay? And that's it, okay? So that's the first video I wanted to do on how to create a word cloud. In a sense, it is actually quite easy. If you want to do your own word cloud, all what you would need is basically to change the text. So you have to to go to Gutenberg, you pick one of your a text that you like, just one chapter is enough, and then you run cell by cell, making sure that you change this. If you change this, you will be able to redo the word cloud. Okay, and after that, it's up to you to play with some of those parameters in order to make a word cloud which looks better to your eyes. Okay, and that's about it. Okay, in the next video, I will try to show you how to create word clouds with with some shapes like that. Okay, I will go trying to show you how to create this one here. Okay, so that's it for this specific video.